Listen long enough, you can love me. I'll be just yours. You can hold me. Even let you undress my mind. Say goodbye and watch it burn. Press rewind. I can give you what you need. I can give you what you need. I can make you feel. I can make you feel alright. I can make you feel alright. Breathe, takes my words, let me blow your mind. I will take you far, far away. I'll make you feel alright. Gotta crave it intensely until you're close enough to tight. Stay. I can give you what you need. I can give you what you need. I can make you feel alright. I can make you feel alright. I can make you feel alright.
Badass Witch is back in the house live. Welcome everybody in the chat.
Listen long enough, you can love me. I'll be just yours. You can hold me.
What's up, my people? I am the Oracle Oshun Aje, and we're going to be talking about the importance of touch tonight, and we're going to try to do it, not take too long to do it, okay? Because I don't have a lot of time, but we will get it all in before it's over, okay? So thank you all for coming. Welcome, Vashante. I will call you back when I'm done with this. Welcome, Angela, Grandmaster Fee, and everybody else in the chat. Okay. So we want to talk about the importance of touch. Okay, and especially in magic. Okay. Do I have my 5? I got 6. Okay. So let's talk about how important to actually put your hands and get your hands in on your work and actually touching other people and just touch period in the practice of performing magic. Okay. For me, I can touch just about anything and get some energy from it. But I want to go back all the way up to how important touch is to us as human beings. Just just as human beings, when a newborn baby is born, if they are not put skin to skin with their mother or another human being, if they are not feeling that skin to skin touch, and if especially if they in the weeks and the days going forward, if a newborn human being um, does not receive human touch and that human nurturing, they will fail to thrive. Okay. Um, SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, is an unexplained uh, phenomenon in our society. I have my own theories about it, but even when it's not SIDS or not classified as SIDS, there are many cases of newborn babies failing to thrive, and basically either losing their lives or almost losing their lives because of the absence of that human touch. Okay, so it's very important. If you study um, adult human beings of any age, you'll find that touches, hugs. This is why when we're in love, we hold hands. We make sure we're skin to skin. We touch one another. This is why we hug one another. This is why when our children get hurt, we kiss their little sore, their little boo-boo, or we hug them because it actually does have some healing effects. Okay, a human touch, a hug, helps to regulate your blood pressure and a lot of other bodily functions. It lowers your stress levels. It helps anxiety, and overall, just your overall well-being. The more that you're touched, the more your overall anxiety, the lower your overall anxiety levels will be. Okay, the lower. Oh no, my battery is about to die. Are we serious right now? Like, I don't know how long I got, y'all. This might just go off on me, okay? Because I didn't realize I should have brought my cord in here. So that I could plug it in before I finish. And then somebody is texting me too. Okay, so I want to finish this, but if I go off, I'll come back, y'all. Okay, it's my bad. But basically, human touch is very important. Okay, so in my work, even with my tarot cards, I touch them because I get a different energy from them, depending upon the reading and the spirits that I've called forth to give me messages through those cards. This is why I touch the pictures. This is why I show you guys the pictures, because I'm not only interpreting the meaning of the card, but I'm also interpreting what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, the energy of the picture related to the particular target, okay, that I'm trying to read for. Uh, when I get pictures of my clients or pictures of other people, my targets that I'm working on, whatever, just a minute, everything's happening, y'all, to try to keep me from doing this live stream. But anytime I touch pictures, I can feel the energy of the person, okay, and I can get a lot of information just by touching pictures. So I just ran anytime I'm making bath salts, powders, dressing candles, jars. They're all very important that you put your hands into anything that you're creating. If you are a natural witch and you understand the energy coming from your hands, okay, and the magic that's in your touch, then you understand that you need to get your hands off in your work, okay? When I do water magic, I make sure I swirl it around with my own fingers. I will use a licorice root. Sometimes if it's to try to enter or dominate another person or to try to enter their mind, but even if I use the licorice root, I still use my hands because your hands have energy. One of my teachers, Michael, when he first took me out, we were out at the lake and we had built a fire, and that was the first thing he taught me. And my camera is just, I can't see myself in Okay, so I still got 11 people here. Okay, shout out to y'all. Okay, I appreciate you guys. My camera, my computer shut down on me. There's just a lot of things happening that don't want me to get this work done. Okay, with you guys. What's up, everybody? Okay, so what's up, Ashante, Angela, Grandmaster Fee, Lady Witch. Oh, okay. I thought y'all had to get somebody up out of here. Okay, so people at the door and all kinds of shit. Okay, what just happened? I should still be on here. All right, I can see myself on here. I can't see myself on my screen, so I don't know if you guys can see me. If you can still see me, say something. Because if not, I'm gonna shut this one down and just start a new live stream. Okay, so if you're still in here, what just happened? Okay. I'm not gonna say anything right now until I know that I'm back on here, because it would be a waste of time if y'all can't hear me. So I'm looking at it. I guess that one shut down on me, so I'm gonna have to start over. Everything you touch is it says I'm still on here though. Let me see. So y'all can see me? Okay, okay. So I don't know. I can't see myself, but that's cool if y'all can see me and we can still interact, and that's cool. Okay. So okay, I'm back on here now. I think I can see myself. Okay, what's up, KK Brown? Shante, my phone about to die too, so we won't have any music in a minute, y'all. People at the door, just everything's happening, okay? But anyway, I was talking about Michael, okay? One of my teachers, when Michael would take us out to the lake, he showed me the energy that was coming from my hands, okay? We built the fire. And I didn't even know, and before this time, that I could actually control the elements like this, okay? So I just by sending my energy from my hands to the fire, okay? So when he showed me how to aim my energy at the base of the fire and to tell it to get bigger, or tell it to get hotter, to tell it to turn blue, green, red, whatever. And it was actually it was actually following my commands, like this whole big ass bonfire we built. I was out there controlling it, right? This was when I first started learning, and I was so excited, okay? That he tried to pull me away from that lesson to go learn some other stuff. And I didn't want him to get away from it. It was like a child with a new toy. Like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is working, right? So I was like that. And but basically what I learned, though, the very first couple of nights that we went out, was that even though you can't see the energy, okay, this is why he had us controlling the fire and the elements basically from a distance with our hands. It's because so we would know that even though you can't see that energy, that it's there, okay, and that it does affect the atmosphere and the elements in the surrounding, other people. So when you touch other people with the intention to heal, you are in fact doing some work, okay? When you touch other people with whatever intention, you are having an effect on that person, okay? Some people are harder to affect than others because some people do know how to protect themselves, okay? But I would say my advice to anybody would be to just be very careful of who you allow to touch you, okay? It's the same principles, the same dynamic, like in church when people are laying hands on one another to pray, okay? When the pastor, the preacher, lady, touching you, and in church when we gather in a circle, in covens when they gather in their circles and we touch hands, whenever you are touching other people in your gathering, you are joining your energy together, and you can direct that energy into whatever whatever manifestation that you choose, okay? So basically the energy of touch is very important. So again, when I'm making bath salts, my hands got to get in there because my energy has to be in there. And if anybody has ever bought my bath salts, you have definitely received some of my energy, okay? Or any workings of mine that if I sent it to you, an oil from me, a bath salt, a powder, you know, anything like that, you definitely have felt my energy in it because I make sure I get my hands all off of it. Okay, my oils, anything that I create, my energy has to go into it because that's how it gets my specific energy signature on my work. Okay, so anybody who's been following me for any amount of time, I've been on here about 2.5 years now. I'm sure if you saw my work and it did not have my name on it, by now people would understand how I work, what my work looks like. And I do think that my work has a specific signature, okay, to the way that it looks, to the way that I, you know, the way that I film it, to what I show you, the way that I work it. And I think that every witch's work should have its own signature. But the way that it gets the signature is that you're getting your hands and then you get your hands dirty. A real witch is not afraid to get her hands dirty. Okay. You know, we get dirty, we get bloody, we do whatever is necessary. We do what we gotta do to make shit happen. Okay. So the energy of touch from the very beginning of our lives is very important, okay? Because if you don't get touched in your first few days of life, you probably are not going to live, okay? So it's basically the dynamic, the principle of us thriving off of the energy of love, okay? And touch helps to transmit that. I'm gonna come back because I also want to, but I don't want to get off the subject, but I'm going to talk about in my next video, and somebody remind me if I forget, but my next video, I'm going to talk about energy and how our energy puts its imprint upon the elements, okay? And I'm going to use Dr. Masuro, sorry, what is his name? Dr. Emoto. His last name is Emoto, okay? I forget his first name, Masuro or something like that. Emoto, his last name is. And he did a study on water and how when we put certain energies and focus certain energies into water, that it actually magnified the water molecules, okay? While people were putting the energy of love into the water, the energy of hatred, the energy of jealousy, whatever. And when you were getting the emotions of like love and joy, the water was actually forming itself into crystals that looked very similar to snowflakes. You know how individual snowflakes, just beautiful asymmetrical designs and sacred geometrical designs, okay? And the water that they directed the dark energies into, basically, it didn't form any shapes, but it was basically chaos, like patterns of chaotic. Okay, and seeing this is basically the same thing that we feel when we direct these types of energies into people. Okay, our bodies are 70 to 90% water. Okay, so if our thoughts can change water into those beautiful shapes or into those chaotic forms, then imagine what our thoughts can do to ourselves, to our own bodies, and also to the bodies and the minds of other people. Okay, this is very important to know in magic, okay? Very important to know. Your energy does affect other people if in fact you direct it in the correct way, okay, in the correct manner, and in the correct degree, okay. We have to know when to direct your energy and when to back off, okay, and to just watch your work play, okay. And a lot of times when especially for a witch like me, because I don't mind my target knowing that I'm working on their essence, okay, because basically they're helping me, okay. They're helping me whether they know it or not to bring it about, okay. I'm all up in their heads, I'm roaming all around in their minds, and they because they are thinking about it, because they have seen some of my work, or because I've told them whatever, it is in their minds, and whether they want to be assisting me or not, once they know about it, they are assisting me. Okay, so any witch or anyone who does mental magic, we know how to get inside of a person's mind and to roam around in it and to not leave until we're good and goddamn ready. Okay, so you want to learn the. Let me go back to a point though, because I don't want to get off the point. Touch is very important. It's important for us to live, for us to thrive, and it's important for you to get your hands down into your work. Okay, it's important for you to touch your candles to infuse the energy of your intentions into the candles. It's important to roll them through your hands and to put the oils on your hands. And because if you're not getting your energy off into your work, then you're just playing. It's the stuff that you have a bunch of tools that you're not using in the correct manner. The most important thing, like I said, the most important element in all of your magic would be that very top point of the star, of the 5 points on the star, which represents your energy, which represents your spirit, okay, your inner god or goddess, your energy. Okay, and so the way you get that energy off into work is you put your hands in it. The way you get your energy onto another person is you touch them. You touch their picture. Okay, and this is why it's very important to pay attention to who's touching you. Okay, and to if you are like if you're a witch, it's easy to lay a trick on somebody if they don't understand what's going on, and you can just touch them, and you got a little bit of something on your hands, or even an intention in your mind. You will be affecting that person. Okay, so what I'm telling you from the other side of it is be very careful of who touches you, because as a witch, I know that we do tend to touch people and transfer things if we choose to. Now, it's not always a bad thing. We touch when we heal. Okay, we touch when we want to draw people to us and have that attraction energy. It's whatever is in your mind while you touch it. Okay, and it depends on what you're touching and who you're touching, how you're touching, and when you're touching. Okay, and we just gonna leave that to your spirits to guide you. Um, on how that should manifest itself in, because it's going to be different for every situation, but it's very important. Okay, it has a very strong effect on the work. Okay, if you've made a jar, it's important to not just make the jar, not just to burn candles on the jar and put all the ingredients in it, but the most important part of a jar is when you're working it. Okay, if it's a sour jar, if it's something where you're trying to agitate the person, it's very important that you pick up that jar and shake it. And while you're shaking it, you're putting all your intention into it. If it's a sour jar, you're putting all your anger into it, your frustration, all of the intention of what you want to happen to the target that you have inside this jar. Okay, and I'll come back and talk about the principles of jar spells and why they work so well, because jars are a concentrated point of focus for you to focus your energy into. So if you have the right ingredients, the right herbs, the right things in your jar, jars are very powerful. Okay, so those people who say voodoo is not a powerful form of magic, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And if they did not think hoodoo was such a powerful form of magic, they wouldn't be constantly focused on us hoodoo workers. Okay, now I'm not I don't limit myself to only doing hoodoo. I am an eclectic witch. Okay, but most of my work is root work based in African American folk magic, which we do call hoodoo. Okay, but I have learned from, like I said, I've studied just about every religion on the planet, and I've learned from some very unique teachers. Okay, my most powerful and most magical teacher, Michael, called himself a Jedi. So you know what I'm saying? I don't subscribe to any religions or anything like that, but I study and I learn and take the meat and leave the bones of all of them. Okay. So the most important thing in your working is that it has your energy all over it. Your candles, your oils, your powders, your mojo bags, your talismans, your charms, your crystals. The very first time I realized that I had a very strong energy coming from my body was one day that I was meditating, and I had a crystal in my hand. It was my crystal. It's like shaped like a pyramid, but it's flat on the bottom. Okay, and it was laying on its side in my hand, and for some reason I had been meditating, and something told me to open up my hand. And when I opened it up, I just stared at the crystal because I knew something was about to happen. I felt this tingling in my hand. And the crystal, I just sat there and slowly watched that crystal stand, like from laying on its side to standing straight up in my hand like that. And I didn't even touch it. It just did it all by itself. And I was not shocked. Like, I felt it about to happen. I knew it was about to happen. And that was the first magical thing that if my homegirl is that just text me is in here, I will text you back in a minute, okay? And if not, I'll text you back in a minute. No, but anyway, so that's how I knew I had magic in my body, okay? When that crystal stood up in my hand. And this was 20 years ago, 20 plus some years ago, and I knew that I knew I've always. Ever since I can remember, I've been able to see spirit. I've been able to hear spirit. You know what I'm saying? Since I've been able to talk, I've been telling my mom what I see, you know, and it's not unusual in my family. Like, most of the women in my family have the same gifts or some of the same gifts. Okay. So, but when that crystal stood up in my hand, I knew it. And then I met Michael, and when Michael and I met, we had kind of been watching one another. I had watched him teach a little boy how to suspend a hanger. He had a wire hanger to suspend it in midair. Wasn't touching it, he was suspending it by his sound. Okay. And this is how I learned how to transcend dimensions using sound, and how to create a grid in the air where you can protect yourself using sound. There's so many things that you can do using sound, okay? And it's I don't want to be rambling because I feel like I'm going off the subject. The subject is touch, okay? So we'll talk about sound and all that stuff later because it's really interesting. I'm going to go into teaching y'all some of the things that I learned from Michael, okay? But we're going to stay focused tonight, okay? Touch, that is important. Like I said, get your hands into any workings that you're doing. Your jar, if you work in your jar, you want to go and touch it every day, at least, you know, a couple times a day. What I do with my jars is every time that the target comes to my mind, every time the subject comes to my mind, I go get my jar and I work it. And working it means me shaking it. Working it means me, if it's a honey jar, which I am working a honey jar right now, I put it in the sun and I flip it and I turn it upside down so that all the ingredients begin to mix. Because in my honey jars, I put hibiscus powder, flowers, bloodroot powder, all kinds of things that's going to turn my honey into this pretty red color. All my ingredients are getting mixed, and the energy of the sun is also infusing the jar with energy, extra energy. Okay, so every day you want to touch your workings. You want to work your jars. Every element in your working as you set it up. If you go and look at some of my videos of some of my spell work and stuff that I have on my channel, every single element that is on the table, every single element that's in the setup, that's in the ritual, has my energy all over it, okay? Every flower, every candle, every jar, every skull, every little sculpture that I made out of clay, I have herbs all infused up in it, oil all over it. It's my work. Nobody else could come and touch this. No one else could come and have any effect on it. It's my work, okay? And so that's what you want to do, is to put your energy all over your work so that after a while, your work will be known by your own unique signature, okay? I think that every witch works in their own way. And I think that I can, because I've been watching, you know, the witches that I do pay attention to, I think that I would know their work without them putting their names on it by now, because I think that everyone works in their own way and we all have our signature. And it's because of the energy that we put into our work, okay? Some people tend to be sloppy. Some people don't care. Some people are extremely neat. Some people are neat freaks. Some people are very beautiful and elaborate. Some people are very simple. None of that really tells you how powerful the work is. It's all about the energy of the worker, okay? So you want to focus on the worker and the way that they're working, and what they're doing, how much attention they seem to be paying, you know, to the work, okay? If you're going to a root worker and you're paying them to do work, and you see them sitting up on YouTube all day, every day, and hating on people and cussing folks out and being bitter, and and they go live every 30 minutes, and the lives last for 2 to 4 hours and sometimes longer. How can you imagine that that person is actually getting your work done and putting energy and time into your work? So I don't see how some of these people, these YouTube witches, I don't even see how some of them get clients, because you're always on here, you're always on live, you're always you take the live, you take the phone to the store with you, you're in the car with the live, you every damn where, everywhere but where you're supposed to be, which is doing your work. Okay, if you have clients, okay. I see a lot of people making excuses for why they didn't get, the people didn't get what they paid for. It'll be next week because none of y'all got in touch with me. It'll be next week because none of y'all were available. It's always the client's fault once they have your money, why you ain't getting your work on time. Okay, it's bullshit. Okay. um any witch can tend to overload ourselves and not have, we can't contact everybody every day. But if your root worker is really concerned about you, they will keep some sort of contact with you, okay, to be checking up on you, to make sure that things are going. They're not just gonna be taking your money and talking about I'll get back with you, and give me up to 21 to 30 days before we even expect anything, so don't contact me. That's some bullshit. Okay. You do have time frames, of course. Things might take 21 days, it might take 2 months, it might take however long. But the fact is that if these people have paid, my clients who pay me their money, I make sure that I keep in touch with them. Okay, even clients who I'm not working for, I still check up on my people because I consider these my people. Back to the point is, touch is very important for human beings to thrive, for us to have a sense of well-being. It's good for your health. Again, it regulates your blood pressure, your anxiety. You know what I'm saying? And your overall sense of well-being is brought on by the other human beings being in your presence. And people who are touched more tend to get sick less. But in magic, again, when you touch pictures, if you have any sort of intuitive or psychic abilities, you will get impressions, you will get energy and information from the pictures, okay, from the people in the pictures. Anybody that reads tarot, this. If you are an intuitive tarot reader, this is why what I do with my cards, tarot readers, we tend to have a very close relationship with our cards, and we really don't like anyone else touching our cards because they're our cards. They have our energy all over them. Okay. I have seen some tarot readers who actually hand their deck to the person that they're reading for and tell them to pick a card or tell them to cut. I don't do that because these are my cards and my energy on them. Like, I can't have that mix of energies, but different people read in different ways. So, but so yeah, as long as you understand that any work that you're doing requires your energy more than anything, more than the tools. You might not have the all the oils that you need. You might not have all the herbs. You might not have the props. You know what I'm saying? The cauldron, the skulls, the Florida water, all the things that people say that you need. When in fact, if you're vibrating, in the right way, if you have your energy set right, if you have your intentions set right, and you are focused correctly, you can bring about your manifestations without all the prompts, without all the tools. Okay. And that's going to be another one of my upcoming videos, is how at some point when you grow in your practice, you begin to internalize all of your tools, okay, all of your crystals, all of your oils, all of the things that you use to manifest. You get to integrate those energies into yourself, and you begin to see all these props fall away because you no longer need them. Now the energy of that crystal is inside of me. Okay. Now the energy of all the stuff that I needed, I don't need to actually do this. Okay. Certain things that you no longer will, you won't need to do anymore, because the energy of those things and the power that those things represented, you have integrated those energies into yourself. Okay. So, if you wish to, you know what I'm saying, get to the point of a, you know, a master creator, they're mostly creating with their mentally. They are, you know, if you can get a clear vision in your head, if you can get the picture in your head and hold it there for 17 seconds or longer, the your manifestation begins to take form in the physical. So the longer that you can focus on something mentally, and basically that's what all the tools are there for, is to help you to focus mentally. Okay, and to focus energetically, it requires touch. Okay, so touch your jars, touch your candles, put your hands in anything that you're creating, so that when you give it to whoever you're making it for, your energy signature is all over it. Okay. um this is why we touch, you know, our lovers. This is why we touch our babies. You know, it's a very important you know, part of life, and a very important part of magic. Okay, it is the way that we, one of the strongest ways that we can infuse our energy into our work. Okay, so you don't want to be using tools for everything and not actually getting your hands in there and get dirty. I mean, the tools are okay, but as long as your hands are in there and the energy of your, that, you know, of your ashe is getting in there through your fingers and through your hands. So most witches tend to have a green thumb. We like planting things. We have a lot of pretty plants and flowers around us. We plant, if we're not planting flowers, we're planting herbs. We're burying things. We're making things. Being creative in crafts. As far as, like, I like to make a lot of my poppets. Most people use like a cloth poppet and they put stuff in it. And I like to actually use Play-Doh. I like to use clay to form my poppets because I find them much more pliable and easy to put things inside of, easier to infuse my herbs and oils into, easier to burn candles in. So I like to use Play-Doh a lot because it's definitely a hands-on type of thing. You're forming the stuff and putting your intention into it. And the thing is, you know, when you've done your work and you put your energy into it like that, and you work the way that I work as far as putting my energy in it, once your work begins to work and you've done your rituals and you've laid it down and the work actually begins to take effect, you will feel the drain of your own energy. There is a connection between you and your working. And when you feel that tiredness, when you feel drained, after a while of doing it, you will begin to recognize that feeling as the knowing of, okay, my work is working, because I am exhausted, because my energy, it's taking my energy. Okay. If your work has not taken any of your energy, if it has not drained any of your energy, it's probably not doing anything. Okay. So when you are doing real work, you are going to be drained, you're going to be tired, you are going to require you know, a time of recuperation. Okay, this is why we create spiritual baths. Okay, this is why we anoint ourselves with oil. This is why we have time for meditation, and just me time. We go out in nature. I go out in nature. I take my shoes off. I take my hands and I touch the earth, and my spirit just tells me to do this. And this is because, as an empath, I absorb a lot of energy from the ether and from other people. Okay, and in order to give it back to Mother Earth, to Terra, I just touch the earth and I can feel the energy drain back into the earth. Okay, through my feet. I've never liked to wear shoes, which is why I always need pedicures and shit, because now that I'm grown, I will keep something on my feet, like some socks or some house shoes or something. But as a child, I never liked shoes on my feet because my feet needed to touch the earth. Okay. Um, and when I'm upset, I always go outside in my hands. I need to put my hands on the earth. Okay. So, okay. And I'm just looking at some of the comments, y'all. Oh, thank you, Nicole Bonner. I'm so glad that y'all have stuck with me this whole time. Okay. and that you are getting something from what from what I'm telling y'all. Today has been a crazy day. I come home to people making videos about me who I have not given a damn about in months. You know what I'm saying? It's insane. So I'm just trying to stay focused and to move forward. So a touch is very important. If there's anything else that y'all would like to know about touch, or for me to mention about it, as far as in magic, in life, we can talk more about it. As I go forward, I do want to talk about sound, how sound affects us, how a sound can actually take us to another dimension. It helps us to astral travel. It helps you to change the atmosphere, okay, to create a grid in the air where you can actually have this enchanted, space, okay. And I've actually done it, and I've actually been affected by grids that other people have made, okay. So that was something that is very amazing that I experienced with my teacher Michael as well. Uh, I want to talk about Dr. Masaru Emoto again, his study of water and how energy affects not just water, but water is one of the most receptive of the elements, and it's one of the elements that I work with. Of course, y'all know that my mama Oshun is the river, the goddess of the sweet waters of the earth. Okay, the river goddess. So water is one of the main elements that I do work with, and it is one of the most receptive of the elements. Okay, so his study on water. Um, Basically illustrated how our thoughts affect water, okay. And if you understand that our thoughts affect water that way, then you should understand that our thoughts affect our own bodies that way. Our own bodies are 70 to 90% water, and they also affect other people, okay. So you can do mental magic on other people, and directing your thoughts, your energies, and your intentions into your work is very effective, okay. And touch is very effective when creating anything that you're passing on to someone else as a magical tool for you to use. Okay, if someone is making bath salts and they just stirring it up with a spoon and they're not getting their hands in there, you're just getting some mixed up salts. Okay, they may pray over it and stuff, but if I'm going to be buying something from a spiritualist, I want to see them get their hands off into it. I want to see their energy go into it. Because that's what you're buying, okay. Otherwise it's just a mixture of something that might smell good, it might look good, but is it going to do what we need it to do, okay. When I don't just pray over my work, I pray in it. I pray over my I say affirmations. I am declaring things over my things that I'm working on while my hands are in it. Okay, I'm not just standing over it, sending energy. I'm actually in it. Okay, and that's the best way to get your energy in there. Okay, if you're able to touch something, um, as an alternative to any other way of connecting with something, choose touch, okay? Because it's very powerful, very powerful. Um, if a person is distraught, you'll notice that a lot of people feel drawn to them, to want to hug them, to just want to, touch their back, because instinctively we know that touch is healing. Okay, a little child, when they get hurt outside, they want to run to their mom, and all they want is a hug or a kiss, because they understand instinctively that it's healing. Okay, so if you have not been touched in a long time, go out and get touched. Let somebody touch you. Okay, I'm not a very touchy feely person unless I have this connection with you. If I have a connection with you, then there is no boundaries between us. Okay, but it's a very cut and dry thing with me. Either you're in or you're out. Okay, and it's depending upon how your energy affects me. Okay, so if you're in, and you know that I don't mind, I will touch, I will do all that. But if I don't know you, if I don't like you, then don't even get in my personal space, and that energy barrier will be up to let you know that the message is very clear. Okay, so and I suggest that everyone be very discerning and very selective about who you and what you allow to touch you. Okay. Okay, so I'm just trying to Aretha Franklin. Yeah, I will be. Angela, it's hard for me right now because Aretha was a very powerful influence in my life. And again, I told you when I went to go when I was at President Obama's inauguration, it was so cold out there that I was about to go. I was about to leave because I was like, I'll watch it on TV. I don't give a damn. I'm going back to the hotel because it's so cold out here. Okay. And right when I was about to turn to go back to the hotel, Aretha started singing. And that voice, which was booming out of these speakers that was set up all over downtown Washington, D.C., just filled the whole area. And that voice actually kept me warm. And I mean, it was, I'm not, I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating. It was like 20 below. Okay. And when I heard her voice, I was not cold anymore. I mean, I stopped shivering. My voice, my whole body just untensed, and there was healing there. Okay. So Aretha, I am going to focus on her, but I just need some time because y'all know me. I'm a big crybaby. I tend to get emotional about things. And I know that even though I know that she was sick and all that stuff, I do not feel that her death was completely natural. Okay, so I do feel that somewhere in there was some foul play there. Okay, that had to do with the industry, and I just don't really at this right now want to go into it. Okay, because I'm just so sick of looking at all of this. It's something else that I want to talk about, but I'm gonna go talk about that on my tarot channel about Omarosa. I hope y'all have been noticing that Omarosa has been whooping ass like I told y'all she would be, and that the government is on the cusp of being dismantled. They talk about impeaching the president, which I knew was coming. Okay, because I told y'all Omarosa set it off, and so many allies have come out of the woodwork, and they are targeting the administration from so many angles that they ain't even had time to focus on Omarosa. Okay, but she is the one who set it off. Okay, let's not forget that. And the only reason everybody else is turning on the president right now is because they know that she has all this information and they don't know what she has. So instead of go down with the sinking ship, they're like, shit, let me get that immunity. And I'll tell on homeboy. Okay, so that's what's going on with that. I wanted to come back and do an update on Triple X Tentacion because I really have a theory about him. Okay, and his death and what has happened since his death. Okay, and I haven't forgotten about my Tupac reading. Okay, I've just been busy. I'm gonna try to get that in within the next day or two. I actually have a reading that I have to do when I get off of here. So if my client is in here waiting on your reading, girl, I haven't forgotten about you. I just needed to pay some attention to my channel. Okay, so yeah, I have a lot on my plate, y'all, but I am hungry. Okay, so I will be here. I'm here for it. Okay, so check me out on Badass Tarot 2. Check me out on the House of Aje. Check me out on BadassWitchez TV and Badass Tarot. So I have 4 channels: Badass Tarot, Badass Tarot 2, the House of Aje, and this channel, BadassWitchez TV. Okay, and you can also subscribe to me on Subscribe Star, where I have my ingredients of the day, relieving stress and anxiety classes, some secrets that I don't share on YouTube about how to keep your man, keep your mate, how to dominate, and a lot of other goodies that I don't share on here. Okay, my documentary starring the porn star TJ. Uh, what did I call it? Dissociative identity disorder personified, starring TJ. That is going to all be on Subscribe Star. And the only reason I'm doing it is to be petty and to drive the stalker crazy, because he is so paranoid that he thinks I got all these secret channels with all his information up. And so since he can't see what's on my Subscribe Star, and he thinks that, I'm just exploiting him and his porn and his penis and his breasts, and yes, they are on the same body, Baffy. Since he seems to be so paranoid about thinking that I'm exploiting him, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so y'all stay tuned. Okay, so if he wants to see what's on my Subscribe Star, he's gonna have to pay me. Okay, so I'm not worried about any of my people that are already subscribed to me screenshotting anything and sending it back to him. Okay, these are my people, Baffy. Okay, so we will be doing the dissociative identity disorder documentary on Subscribe Star. Okay, so when I'm done, I will be putting the links to all of my channels as well as my Subscribe Star in the description link. Go be sure to go to my other channels and subscribe. I apologize, y'all, if I was a little bit distracted tonight. I usually am able to stay on the point, but regardless of what the hell I said tonight, regardless of how it went, I know that everything I said meant some shit. Okay. I know that everything that it might have not, I might not have stayed on the subject, y'all, but everything that I said is very pertinent. Okay, so you can take it seriously. Okay, I just have a lot on my plate and a lot on my mind. Okay, um, yes, she was beautiful, Angela, and we will definitely talk about her. Yes, Vashante Amarosa did set it off, and I am loving it. Lady Witch, yes, y'all can definitely go see Miss Stress underscore triple X busting all over everything for $20 a pop. Okay. If you don't know who that is, if you don't know how to get there, Chatterbait, ChatUrbate. You want to look for Mistress underscore triple X. Okay. So, like I said, I might have been a little bit all over the place. We was talking about touch, sound, and all of that good stuff, y'all. But I really just wanted to come and just hang out with my people tonight. So, um, the next video, though, I'm gonna be a little bit more focused, y'all. We will be talking about Mr. Emoto, Dr. Emoto, and his study that he did upon water and how our energy affects our thoughts and affect the elements and therefore our bodies and other people. Okay, so that's what we're gonna go into next. And if there's anything that y'all would like for me to cover that I did not cover regarding touch and the importance of touch in life and in magic, email me, leave me a comment in the comment section. What are y'all over here doing in this comment section? Okay. Okay, Baffy. Y'all are stupid. Okay, so yeah. So thank everybody for coming. I know, like I said, I just basically just wanted to come by and hang out with y'all tonight. So if I was a little bit all over the place, forgive me, but you can take everything I said seriously, okay? Because it doesn't come out of me unless it's in me. So it might not have been organized, but it is very important. And it is very true and real, and it's real information that you can use. Okay, so if there's anything that I said that y'all would like me to expand on, definitely hit me up, leave me a comment. And like I said, go to the description box after I am done with this, and you can go to all of my other channels and see the other work that I'm doing over the internet. Okay, and if you really love me and want to support me, you will want to become a subscriber on my Subscribe Star. Okay, and every month I am still giving away the Badass Witches t-shirt. I'm doing a lot of good stuff over there. I am going to be doing some private live streams. There's already private classes, and those of you who liked my ingredient of the day, that has continued on my Subscribe Star. Okay. So until we meet again, my people, keep it classy, keep it clean. Thank you all for coming again. And I won't be a stranger to this channel as much. I have gotten my work down to 2 clients right now. Their work is pretty heavy, but I can manage those 2 and still be able to consistently come and do my live streams now. Okay, so I have, basically taken care of most of my other clients, and these 2 I can work on and still work with you guys. Okay, so thank you all for being standing by me, for being patient, for sticking with me this whole time, and for supporting me. Okay, so until we meet again, classy, clean, and do what y'all got to do to make shit happen. Peace.